Hey, numerologist community, and welcome back to another episode of this full and new moon series that I do with the wonderful Kelly Fox. Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
Hi, Rose. Good, thank you.
Now, today is a bit of a different one because we're just going into eclipse season. So today we're going to be talking about the full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 26th of May. So what does it have in store for us?
Oh my goodness. So this full moon lunar eclipse is all about truth and justice.
Ooh.
So yes. And truth and justice are keywords for Sagittarius. And so it's also going to be about transportation, education, which of course are topics in the media right now. The shadow side of this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius is about education and learning. So, it's going to highlight what's going on out there in the world and the challenges around that to do with these topics of transportation, education, truth and justice. But we have to be careful, because the shadow side of this is dogma. Because what we think might be our truth or what is our truth might not be someone else's truth. So we need to take care with that we don't get too dogmatic or we don't get on our soapbox with what we believe to be true, because everybody has their truth, everybody has their belief, and so it's about getting along. The other thing that this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius is going to highlight is foreign cultures. So it's being very much about foreign cultures. That will be something that we connect to, or people from foreign places will be also on many of our minds here. Now I'm sharing the screen, and as you can see, here's the chart wheel for this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. And I'm going to explain what all this means here. But basically, the lunar eclipse is the moon in Sagittarius opposite the sun in Gemini. And so sun and moon are opposites, typically with, not typically, always with a full moon, sun and moon opposite, and our earth is in the middle. So from our perspective here on earth, the sun and moon are opposite, and it's like a tug of war. So it's this push-pull effect of the sun and moon being emotions, sun being the core of who we are. So it's about finding balance. It's always about finding balance. And the cycle of a full moon is culmination. Something comes to a head. There's always drama with a full moon and extra drama with a lunar eclipse. Now, eclipses happen in pairs or threes, and it's usually twice a year. And, according to astrologers, eclipses mark turning points. And, usually it's globally where astrologers are making forecasts, what's going on in the world globally based off, the moment of the eclipse. And so then it will determine, what sign is the eclipse in. It's in Sagittarius. So as I said before, it's about truth, justice, exploration, transportation, education. It's also about, spiritual matters. And the thing that this full moon is doing is both the sun and moon are forming a 90-degree angle to Jupiter over here. So it's called a T-square. And Jupiter is a planet of excess. So we need to take care with overdoing it or overindulging around this lunar eclipse at the end of May. So, we need to be very careful with our consumption intake because, Jupiter is also connected to alcohol and an excess of alcohol when we're in the shadow of the energy of Jupiter. And so we need to be very careful that we're not dealing with, lunar eclipses are always about drama, that we're not dealing with the drama of the eclipse by overindulging in alcohol or overindulging in food or overindulging in, whatever it may be. Everything in moderation, as they say. So this lunar eclipse does bring about an excess of something depending on where this energy falls in your natal chart. So we also need to be careful of false gurus. So what I mean by that is people making false promises, people overcommitting where they can't really follow through and deliver on what they say they're going to do. That's a really big theme of this lunar eclipse as well, because of the square or the influence of Jupiter, the challenging angle that Jupiter, the moon and sun are making to Jupiter. So it's like we really need to be careful with overcommitting, overindulging, overdoing it, any sort of excess in some way. When it comes to substances, we need to be very mindful and careful, not overdoing it and not following along with, as I said, false gurus, meaning people that claim that there's something that they're not. And it doesn't have to be, someone in authority. It could be anybody in our life. So we need to be very careful that we're not taking people at face value, that we really follow it up with fact and information. And information is a key word here of all these Gemini planets, because not only is the sun in Gemini in the North Node, but we've got Venus and Mercury in Gemini as well. So it really is what is highlighted under this influence of this lunar eclipse is information. So we've got to be very careful, because the shadow side of this lunar eclipse is about gossip. Because, these planets in Gemini, even though Gemini is a brilliant, intellectual, clever, witty zodiac sign, the shadow influence of that is gossip or is fake news. So we need to be very, very careful on social media, because the energies of the lunar eclipse in Sag and the sun in Gemini is, fake news, social media, lies, innuendos, skirting the truth. So we've got to get to the heart of something without digging our heels in with our own dogma and our own, following false gurus or false information. And what this teaches us, all of this lunar energy, is about care and compassion, because that's Jupiter in Pisces, and making sure that we're not just taking care of ourselves, but we're taking care of us as a human race. This is Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter moved into Pisces May 13th. So it's like we all have to step up as a human race, and the collective consciousness is care and compassion and taking care of each other. And our actions really have consequences for the human race, us as individuals. That's what this lunar eclipse is highlighting. And that has been the theme of the eclipses from last year, 2020, and now throughout 2021, is we have to understand that we're part of a link in a much bigger chain. And that's what is being spelled out here with this lunar energy.
I always find it fascinating that a lot of the times when we talk about new and full moons and those kinds of things, there's a very good side, but there's also, it has a caveat, watch this. And I think that's really sort of reminiscent of life itself, isn't it? You can have the good, but you've got to really work with this energy and watch your step there. So this one could be a really awesome one for change, but it's just making sure that we, again, don't go into excess. Are there any specific signs that will find that harder than others?
Yeah, mainly the mutable signs, and that's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Although that said, the mutable signs are adaptable and flexible. So even though they may be experiencing the challenges more so of this lunar eclipse, they are the ones that are actually can adapt to the change where necessary.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. I can't wait to see what this moon brings for everybody. I'd actually be really interested if our listeners would make a comment below and let us know the vibes of this moon for you, and whether you kind of resonate with it and whether things are changing and all those kinds of things. So make a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, Kelly, we'll see you again.
Thanks, Rose. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more readings and forecasts every single week. Head to the description now for your free numerology reading and to view our latest blogs.